Hey, B10, the boar that had the great problem a couple days ago with a bad lather, and we're trying to figure out why. It has been soaking for a couple hours in distilled water. We're going to duplicate yesterday's shave, but we're going to use a different method to put the soap in. Yesterday, I used this brush on top of the soap to load from the soap. Today, I have put a 1/4 teaspoon of the soap into the bottom of this bowl. So now we know that we're getting enough soap. I have used a 1/4 teaspoon of this soap with another brush, and it performed wonderfully, as well as other Stirling soaps, and it performed great. The razor is the Karve Christopher Bradley. I'll try to maybe abbreviate it as CB because it's a long name. It's already got the feather loaded into it. This feather has had 25 shaves before now. And ready to go. Sterling for Him is the soap I've used for the last few days. And it's a nice scent. Versace Pour Homme is the cologne it is patterned after. It's just a light, happy cologne type scent. I really like it. All right, so I'm going to get the brush back wet so that we can start it off a little damp. And then I'm going to wet my face. Kind of a quick shave tonight because it is really late and I need to get to bed. My whole family's sick. I don't want to weaken my immune system by sleep deprivation. All right, so I'm going to shake most of the water out of the brush as usual, and then we will start it up. This is the Lather bowl by Roger Quintero 3D design that you can print if you have that kind of a printer. Plans are available online. There'll be a link in the video description. I wonder if maybe these brush tips are so soft that maybe they need a little bit more scrub time when loading directly from the soap puck to get enough soap on them for the shave. So if I end up with more than 3 passes of lather here, then we'll know. Lather already looks really good. Look at that. Sterling is a Sterling is a tremendous soap. I'm going to go ahead and put in 1 teaspoon of water. Very comfortable brush. If you've been following me lately, I've used it 8 times or so, and each time you'll hear me commenting about how nice it is and soft. Broke in quickly. Add a little bit more water. I'm going to slow down, not add the whole next teaspoon. I also had a couple days ago some problems with my water system. That added some variables into the whole problem in trying to diagnose the issue. It probably affected my lather, water hardness, things like that. But that's gradually working its way out of the system. We have a neighborhood well. The water company takes care of it. They said that they had installed a filter and that gradually the stuff should work its way out of everyone's system. Looks like I've got a good bit of lather. Normally this appearance is a little too dry, and I did have to add water to my lather yesterday, so let's go ahead and put in the last bit to make 2 teaspoons of water. You know what? Let's go ahead and put another half in. So now we've got 2.5 teaspoons in. Maybe this is all we need. This is not a strong scent when it's on your face. Of course, you can stick your nose down in the bowl anytime you want to get a hold of it, but it's I would rate it as like a 3 or 4 out of 10. It's lightly available during the shave. You can definitely get good whiffs of it during certain parts of your shave. If you're moving your brush around on your face during the process and stirring up the air, you know, you'll get a good jolt of it. It's very nice. All right. This lather looks really good. See, it's still pretty stiff. That little long guy, he's able to support his own weight. But I don't want to thin it out too much. I've been doing that lately. I'd rather have my face drenched with water during the rinse and leave it on there and then use that to lighten up. This is definitely nice, thick, rich. If you like your lather kind of more on the meringue side, look at that. That's pretty awesome. Here's that mountain peak. This is a nice rich lather here. I'm probably gonna want it to be a little wetter. So 3 teaspoons now in the lather. Just nicer if you can have it be the right consistency from the beginning instead of having to add water, all that stuff. So it's going to be even more elastic than you saw before. Look at that. See, that's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that. Look at that. That is the stuff right there. Just a few more seconds of mixing just to make sure we got everything around. So this, if I had to say it right now, I would call it that this brush, the tips are just either so few and or so soft, which is nice because when it's on your face, I want them to be soft, but it may take a little extra time to dig up enough soap to get your the good lather. It looks like that's what I'm discovering with this because I've just got a wonderful lather in this bowl. I did not have that yesterday when I loaded directly from the soap puck. So let me throw a little bit of water on my face. For now, we'll remove the excess just in case it's either too thin or perfect. Let's see what we get. Oh, this is nice. I'm glad I added some water because this is definitely not too thin. Feels great. Nice tips. These are great. I mean, these may be the softest tips of any boar that I've experienced. And I think I counted, and I've got about, 12 that I've kind of used. Oh yeah, that is nice. And the lather is just perfect. I mean, if it's anything, it might be on the creamy side. Maybe needs a little bit more water. But that's the kind of thing, like I said, just leave some drops on my face after the rinse. And that can really take care of it and tweak it just very easily. All right, Christopher Bradley with a feather. Oh, that's nice. Oh yeah. That's why I love this razor so much. Just sliding right through the hair growth without a problem. This handle may look long, relatively speaking, and it looks that way to me too. But when he first came out with them, I thought, hey, this is one I need to get a hold of, and I'm glad I did, because he had such a high demand. He's a Canadian maker, and just, a guy in a machine shop. Probably has a normal job too. I wasn't really able to keep up with all the demand because the design of this razor is just really good. Matter of fact, for a year or so, year and a half, I've had my Rockwell, my 6S. And when this guy came along, it didn't take first shave, maybe second shave, I thought, this may make my Rockwell obsolete. I might be just never reaching for my Rockwell again after this. I was pretty much right. Just did the rinse. So my Rockwell is nigh unused. And so I thought, you know what, let's just pass it on to somebody else. So I have it packed up in ready to ship to the buyer when I run it out to the post office tomorrow. That Rockwell was my first razor that I bought that was kind of more pricey. So many people spoke highly of it, and they should, because for me, setting 2 and 3, it was wonderful, very smooth. But for me, this Christopher Bradley just beats it across all levels. In the low range, with the Rockwell, I mainly just enjoy plates number 2 through 4. 1's too mild for me, and then 5 and 6 just are so aggressive. For me, they're not comfortable and enjoyable. So that just leaves me 3 settings. 2 and 3 are great, and 4 is pretty good. But with the Christopher Bradley, all the way from AA, A, B, C, D, I'm able to use all of those, and they are all very efficient, do a great job. I can just pick what level of aggression I want and enjoy it. And I even have the E and the F, which I can use if I have a really old smooth blade. And let's get ready for the third pass. Yeah, so that's what it is. I've got another 3 passes of lather in the bowl there. And so this boar is just so soft. The tips are so soft that it just doesn't pick up soap as well as other boars or other brushes. And so I need to compensate and load for longer, like maybe 50 seconds instead of 30 seconds. Or maybe even a minute instead of 30 seconds on some soaps. All right. Very nice glide on this. Just a really nice soap. And Stirling's such a good value. You get about 6 ounces, almost 6 ounces of soap, where for the same price or less than other makers are trying to charge you for 3 or 4 ounces. And they have a great sample program where you can, I think it's a 1 ounce little puck that they give you, and it lasts about 30 shaves. So for a few dollars you can sample the scent really well. I mean, shoot, if I didn't have a lot of money, I might just live off the Stirling pucks, because you use one, you know, buy 8 of them and then rotate, and then that's 8 months of shaves for $24 or something like that. Well, nice shave here. Excellent creamy, luxurious rinses I've had today. So we have definitely answered the question of why my lather was so bad the other day. Maybe the water came into play, but yesterday I didn't have nearly this much soap left over. And a 1/4 teaspoon was all I put in there. You saw the bowl. And we've got tons. How about that? Great, nice little light scent. Easy going. If you're a nighttime shaver, it's a advantage sometimes not to lay on something thick and heavy that you're gonna have to lay in when you go to bed. That's perfect. It's also a good morning scent because it's just so light and happy. Great way to start your day. And Stirling has some things that are good for post-shave. I believe it was talking about shea butter, you know, things like that. And I experienced a perfect post-shave yesterday. Kid got sick, had to go and clean it up in the middle of my shave. And so it was, I just kind of had rinsed my face off, and I had not put any post-shave product on. Went, took care of business. 45 minutes later, half an hour, I can't remember, came back and then realized I didn't put on any post-shave. I meant to, but I didn't. But I didn't have any problem at all. It's nice. So for me, for people with maybe average or oily skin, I have oily skin, you might be able to get along really nicely without a focused, hydrating post-shave product. So something like a witch hazel splash or something like that could be really cool and light and enjoyable for you. All right, I'm going to clean up. So you saw how I have about 2 or 3 passes left of the lather, and that's just with a 1/4 teaspoon of soap. And this is the second syringe we used, which means that I used 3 teaspoons during that lather. And this was distilled water. Now, if you have hard water, I think most of the time, if you don't want to use all distilled all the time, mix half and half, because I believe if you'd even take most people's hard water and half it, then you're halving the minerals and all that hardness. You're halving it, probably make it to where it's very enjoyable. And so if you don't want to pay as much to keep that distilled water flowing, you can save half on that by only using about half of it. So there's the verdict. This little brush, just finished stropping it on the towel. Zenith B10. I had to Dremel the rings out of here. They were just too pointy and irritating to my fingers. So it looks a little non-standard. But it's an inexpensive brush, and the tips are crazy soft after only 9 uses. And they were soft 2 uses ago when I couldn't use it to stir up as much soap. And so sure, if stirring up soap quickly and loading quickly, you want to be able to do it in 30 seconds instead of 1 minute, then maybe you don't want to bring this brush in. Maybe this guy's too soft for you. But for people like me, I really, really enjoy it. And it's going to get even better because the tips are still splitting. Maybe 1/10 of the tips have split. And so it's going to get even better, better, better. Very cool. Yep, and sure enough, the result on this one's excellent. The trouble spot area right here, no length on any tips. All I see is dots. That's above average for me since I can't go against the grain. So that feather at 26 uses is tremendous. And it wasn't even in an aggressive plate. This is the A. It's next to the bottom in the Karve lineup. See if I can do the reflection right. I'm sure you can kind of see it right down here. There, it's a little bit easier that way. It's not the double A, which is the lowest, mildest. This is a mild plate. Gave me I love the mild shavers because you put a good blade in them. And I got a great shave. Very, very, no hint of any irritation. Great cut in just 3 passes. No touch-ups needed. That's terrific. Skin feels great. Skin feels like I've already put some post-shave product on it. How about that? That's wacky. So this is the first time I've had a brush really change how I had to approach loading or really anything about shaving. And that's also why it's important to consider what equipment people are using. If a person online says load for 30 seconds, do they have something really scrubby? Do they have something average? Or do they have something like this to where maybe you need to load for 15 seconds with your brush? If I'm loading for 30 with this one, that's the way it goes. So always consider the equipment and the environment and the variables that are used when you take somebody's advice or recipe, that kind of thing. But love shaving with this brush. It's tremendous. It was great to get back to the Christopher Bradley razor. I really enjoy it. One of my favorites. But I've just had some that I haven't used in a long time kind of come up into my brain and want to be used. And so I haven't used it in a while. And if I had to pick a soap to use for 4 days straight, which is very uncommon for me, this is an enjoyable scent. Definitely not going to get tired of it because it's not obnoxious, strong enough to irritate you. Nice. I enjoyed it. Nice, smooth scent. So we're good. I'm not even going to bother putting on any post-shave tonight. I'm going to just leave it. Face feels great. No irritation, no nicks, no redness. Just a terrific shave all around. Hope this was good for you. I know that I discovered what the issue was, and it was just, it's a soft brush. And to pick up just as much soap as you need for your shave, that one's going to need more time. Maybe even twice as long as other boars that I have. So that was my lesson learned. So you take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Have a good night.